You might think and even feel you're in love, but deep down, something feels off. Maybe you're anxious, overthinking, constantly trying to keep the peace, minimizing your true feelings and needs just to feel close to them. Well, that's not love. That's a trauma bond. Recognizing it could save you years of confusion, emotional pain, and self-blame. Hi, I'm Callie Sorensen. I have a master's in the psychology of coercive control. Today, I'm sharing 10 signs that you're trauma bonded in an unhealthy relationship. First, let's get clear on what a trauma bond actually is. A trauma bond is an emotional attachment to someone who hurts you, built through cycles of abuse and then intermittent kindness. One moment they might be yelling or subtly cutting you down, and then the next they're apologizing, love bombing, or pulling you back in with affection and attention. Your brain starts clinging to the good moments and ignoring the pattern of harm. Genuine love is not like that. Real love is steady, safe, and mutual. It builds you up. It respects your boundaries. It doesn't confuse or control you. If you're new to this and want more information on how trauma bonds form and why they're so hard to break, I have a full video on that, and make sure you check it out after this one. So let's get into the 10 signs that you're trauma bonded. You don't need all 10, and this is not an exhaustive list. Sign number 1, you justify and defend their behavior. You rationalize, justify, defend, and find yourself explaining their actions to yourself, to your friends, or to your family. You make excuses for their behavior. They didn't mean it. They're just stressed out. They had a really hard childhood. They love me deep down. You know the behavior hurts, but you work over time to soften it, to make it make sense. You might even feel like it's your job to understand them more than they understand you. This is one of the clear signs of a trauma bond. You focus on their pain, their story, their stress, and ignore the impact it has on you. You end up being their defender, their therapist, their emotional translator, while your own needs are unmet and your boundaries have been crossed. Real love doesn't require you to explain away pain. It doesn't make you shrink, minimize, or over-intellectualize what hurt you. In a healthy relationship, respect is mutual, and so is accountability. If someone truly loves you, they take responsibility for their behavior. You don't have to carry around the emotional burden for both of you. Sign number 2, you're emotionally dependent. You're constantly tuned in to how they feel and disconnected from how you feel. You might walk on eggshells, always adjusting your behavior to keep them happy, calm, or close. You replay conversations, overanalyze their moods, and try to fix things, especially when they're feeling upset, even if they hurt you. You don't just want their approval, you feel like you need it to feel okay. If they're cold, distant, or mad, you might spiral. If they're loving again, you finally can exhale. Your nervous system becomes addicted to their mood. That's emotional dependency. It's the belief that if they're okay, I'm okay. But if they're not okay, I can't breathe. It's not okay. This keeps you trapped because instead of asking, does this relationship meet my needs? You're always asking, am I doing enough to keep them happy? What am I doing wrong? In real love, both people are responsible for their own emotions and actions, and you're allowed to have boundaries. You're allowed to be okay even when they're not. Genuine connection supports your individuality, not your self-abandonment. Sign number 3, you obsess over them. You can't stop thinking about them. You replay arguments in your head. You analyze every word of a text message. You try to figure out what you did wrong or how to fix things. You think about what you should have said or shouldn't have said. You fantasize about the good times and hope that they'll come back. Your mind becomes consumed by the relationship, even when it's hurting you. That's not love. That's a survival mode. Obsession is a trauma response. It's your nervous system scanning for safety, clarity, or control in a chaotic dynamic. Real love feels calm, not all-consuming. It lets your nervous system rest, not constantly work and be hypervigilant. Sign number 4, you're isolated. Somewhere along the way, your world got smaller. They've subtly cut you off from friends, family, or anyone who questions the relationship. You've stopped sharing your truth about the relationship with other people. Or maybe you stopped talking to others altogether. Maybe they encouraged it. Maybe they made you believe that your family and friends weren't good for you. Maybe you just didn't want to hear the truth. And now you feel like they're the only person who really gets you, even if they're also the one that's hurting you. This is by design. Isolation is a control tactic. The less perspectives you have, the more power they have. Healthy love doesn't isolate you. It supports your connection, your community, your wholeness. Sign number 5, you minimize or normalize the abuse. You downplay what's happening, sometimes without even realizing it. You say things like, it's not that bad. Everyone has problems. No relationship's perfect. They've never hit me. I've seen worse. You compare your pain to others to convince yourself that it's tolerable. You talk yourself out of your own discomfort. But just because the abuse isn't loud, obvious, or physical, that does not mean it's not real. And the longer you minimize it, the harder it is to leave. Real love doesn't require you to shrink your pain. You don't have to water it down to justify staying. Your feelings are valid, and the truth doesn't need to be extreme or purely physical to matter. Sign number 6, you've lost yourself in the relationship. At some point, you stop being you. You don't know what you feel. You don't know what you need. You're so focused on keeping them happy, regulated, and close that you've disconnected from your own emotional world. Your choices revolve around their moods, their reactions, and their comfort. And the things that used to bring you joy, the hobbies, the friendships, the routines, the parts of your personality that made you feel alive, they've slowly disappeared. Or they just don't feel accessible anymore. And you might think, I don't even know who I am without them. I used to feel more grounded, more alive, more me. This is one of the deepest consequences of trauma bonding. You abandon yourself to stay attached to someone who's not safe. Real love doesn't erase you. It brings you back to yourself. In healthy connections, you're allowed to have a separate identity. You're encouraged to explore what you love, what you think, what you need. And if you've lost yourself, that's not love, that's survival. Sign number 7, you feel trapped. Maybe you know the relationship is unhealthy. You've thought about leaving, and maybe you've even tried, but something always stops you. Sometimes it's fear. What if they retaliate? What if they smear me, hurt themselves, or hurt me? Other times it can be guilt or shame. Maybe I'm just being too harsh. I can't just abandon them. Or maybe it's that voice in your head that whispers, you're never going to find somebody else. You won't survive without them. That's not love. That's a trauma bond. When someone alternates harm with moments of affection or relief, it conditions your nervous system to stay, even when you know it's not safe. It wires you to confuse intensity with connection and fear with attachment. Real love doesn't make you feel like you're choosing between yourself and them. It doesn't trap you. It supports your freedom and your well-being, even if that means walking away. Sign number 8, roller coaster emotions. One day they're affectionate, apologetic, charming. The next day they're cold, critical, or maybe cruel. You find your emotions are constantly swinging, highs and then low lows. You feel addicted to the highs and terrified of the lows. This emotional chaos and roller coaster keeps you hooked. It's how they maintain control. In healthy love, emotional safety is consistent. Yes, there are disagreements like every relationship, but not dramatic cycles that leave you confused or addicted to relief. Love doesn't feel like a drug. It feels like home. Sign number 9, you blame yourself. You constantly ask yourself, is this all my fault? Am I too sensitive? Did I make them act that way? Maybe they've even told you it is. You start believing that you are the reason the relationship isn't working, that if you just loved them better, tried harder, or fixed yourself, that they would treat you differently. But no matter how much you try, nothing changes. Healthy relationships have room for both people to be human, and healthy partners take accountability and responsibility for their actions. They don't make you carry the blame for their harm. Sign number 10, you cling to hope for change. You're not in love with who they are now. You're in love with their potential. You keep holding on to the version of them from the beginning, or the rare good days, the sweet moments, the promises that things are going to be different. You believe the real version of them is still in there. And if you just hang on long enough, they'll come back. But that day never comes, and you stay waiting. Now, hope is beautiful, but in toxic dynamics, hope becomes a weapon. Healthy love doesn't require you to beg, wait, or suffer for it to feel safe. If these signs sound familiar, please hear this. It's not your fault. Trauma bonds are designed to confuse you, break you down, and make you believe that the problem is you. But simply seeing this pattern is a powerful first step towards freedom. And here's where you can begin. Number 1, acknowledge the truth. Name it. This is a trauma bond. You don't need to explain it away or carry shame for it. Naming it and seeing the reality begins to loosen the grip. Number 2, educate yourself. Keep learning about covert manipulation, grooming, narcissistic abuse, toxic relationships. Understanding what's happening to you builds the clarity that you've been missing. Make sure to check out my other videos to go deeper into this. And I also have a course, Become Ungroomable, that will walk you through step by step on how to break these trauma bonds and reclaim your power. Number 3, reach out for support. Tell someone safe, a friend, a therapist. Call a domestic abuse hotline. You do not have to do this alone. And if you're ready for support, I offer one-on-one sessions and resources to walk you through this. Number 4, set boundaries and create a plan. Whether it's going extreme modified contact, no contact, or creating a slow, safe exit plan, your needs come first now. You are allowed and deserve to protect your peace. Please remember, you are not weak for being trauma bonded. You are conditioned and you are trained to tolerate what should never be tolerated. But now you're waking up, and that is everything. So be gentle with yourself. Breaking free isn't easy, but it is possible. And make sure you watch my people-pleasing playlist next, because people-pleasing is one of the survival strategies that keeps trauma bonds alive. Make sure you drop a comment or a question below. I read every one. You deserve a love that doesn't hurt. You deserve a life that's fully your own. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.